All right, Lab 312 this week. Write a program that takes a date as an input and outputs the date season. The input is a string to represent the month and an int to represent the day. So, again, you're going to establish two variables, a string, an input that the user is going to put the month, and a second one that's collecting the day from them. So, if the input is April 11th, and see it's 2 lines, then the output is 1 line, the season. If they screw it up, uh, the output is invalid. So you're going to need an else to direct them down to that invalid path, right? If it's correct, if this equals true, then this. If it does else, if it does not, then invalid, right? So they give you the dates for the seasons. You'll have to calculate all the dates, and then they even give you the input of the month and the day, just as we discussed. So this whole lab is about creating one giant conditional statement that your program is going to loop through. I'm not going to sit here and try and code the 40 something lines that this is probably going to require. But what I wanted to do is show you one of your fellow students' work that was submitted for the lab. Now, I didn't get permission, so I'm not taking names and putting this in here, but I figured this would give you a great rundown because they really nailed the conditional statements. You just have to associate seasons to. So in this code from the last lab, they're going through, they're collecting inputs, uh, made a list containing all months. Now, not needed at all, but lists are great for like referencing and everything else, or if you want to depend it in the conditional statement, here's where they start, right? If month true essentially equals January, and year equals 2022 minus age. If you imported that year slot, it'd be, if it was next year minus their current age, and then your print statement, what it'll display. In this, here's where you could add an else statement for, uh, invalid as it showed above. So in here, you're gonna see, I wouldn't do it under, let me show you that a little better. Uh, so you're gonna set an elif to the season, right? So you're gonna have like a date range, as they mentioned above. You're gonna set a range of whatever those dates were, and attach that to a season. So your print would be blah 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 for the elif for the season. Your season is blah. If you have an invalid, so you'd have an else print invalid. So essentially your program is running through this small loop here, this if loop, right? The first thing is checking January. It matches up to January. It's going to check for the season. That'll be your elif. If this is also this, if it's checked here, but that is not, it winds up not being true. It doesn't match that, and not true there. It's going to go down the else path, which is going to tell the user invalid. So you'd add an else to each one of these that you create. So you're going to create a conditional statement for each month. I think I gave you the December or the January code. That's essentially it for that lab. Really not that hard, it's just repetitive. in this program here, I want to specifically point out a few things. So it's verifying true January, right? The user inputs January, it verifies it's true. Notice the capital J. Uh, you're gonna use this often for your game. Now, you don't want the program to screw up just because somebody inputted something slightly off, like capitalize a letter or didn't capitalize a letter. You know, the student clearly identified to capitalize a letter, but it's still able to screw up, right? So there's a Python code to attach to either make the input all undercase, even if they put it all in uppercase, or all uppercase, so that way it can easily reference itself. Uh, that was the first thing I wanted to show you. If you're still on, the next thing is I pulled another student's code that I thought would be a great example to let you see early. Uh, in this one, the student created the code as a function, and essentially a function is a script, a repeatable script over and over and over, right? So all you would have to do in this script by using defining, which is defining a function and naming it main, uh, it's going to go through, it's going to prompt the user name, age, formula, and the print. But all you would have to do is type main. Uh, your text-based video game will have a collection of these, right, of different little scripts that you make to do a certain action. This is highly functional and usable when you have a code that's thousands of inputs, thousands of lines, and you have certain small little functions you want to create over again or certain prompts you want to push the user. And there's no reason to create that script that would be over and over and over within the program when you can define it as a function and you just need one word to easily have that work. I'm going to show you it works just, what is your name? Now, every time that would be found in a conditional loop, for whatever reason, if you wanted to press the user, or here's another great example, your else statement, right? We just went through conditional, and else on the other one is going to be invalid. But what if you wanted to make sure they do this? So it prompts them to start over again. So your else would be main, and it would rerun the program if they make it to the else. Like they screwed up, they put something in wrong, it would start them back from the beginning, because they put something invalid. So you would just reload the script all over again. So that's what I wanted to show you this week for that lab. I hope all this helps. Let me go back to, again, the lab is essentially this if elif statements with, if statements and elifs to come up with add seasons based off of the date range they gave you for that lab. And that'll, once you get one, it'll be repetitive for posting it in those certain months, and then you'll need the else statement to lead them down an invalid path. All right, thank you.